Hey folks, welcome back to the podcast. It's the Evil Dungeon Master Universe podcast. I am your host, Evil Dungeon Master Vince. Hopefully you're having a good Thursday. As it's now Thursday, the week is almost over, getting a day closer to possible gaming. Or maybe you're gaming right now. Who knows when you're listening to this? We'll find out later on. But today we're going to be talking a little bit about DM advice during combat, or DM advice in general during a game when there's a situation wherein the players are kind of not sure what they want to do. But first, head over to theevildm.com if you want to get everything about me, my projects, and what I'm working on. My actual plays for Palladium Fantasy and my solo RPGs or co-op RPGs that I'll be doing. Ask the DM at theevildm.com is my email address. And you can hit me up on various platforms such as X, Facebook, Truth Social, whatever. I'm on them all. Today, again, we're going to be talking about game advice during combat. The question I'm going to pose today is, should a DM give players advice on a situation in combat? Let's just say you're running a combat and the players aren't really sure what to do in the situation, and they're kind of waning or being wishy-washy about what they want to do, where they want to move, and how to do things. So you as a, good DM, you could say, would probably tell the players, my advice to you is do this or do that. And maybe they listen to you, maybe they don't. Should a DM do that? Well, let's first address that before we address the rest of the questions that involve this. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with a DM giving a little bit of advice for the players, where to move their characters and where to go, because if they're stuck and you obviously want to get things moving, not a bad idea. And generally, it's for the good of the game because, again, you want to move forward. And when players get wishy-washy and overthink, it drags things out. So you basically just want to do what's best for the game. Now, should the players listen to the DM? It depends on what era you grew up playing D&D. If you grew up playing D&D in the old school realm of TSR D&D, such as the, late 70s, early 80s, that the DM is not always on your side. The DM versus player mentality was very high, rampantly run back then. And to this day, it still kind of is. The DM is there somewhat to challenge the players, and sometimes it is versus the players. Though, you really shouldn't do that. DM should, and yeah, I am an evil DM, so why am I saying this? But I'm an evil DM when it comes to situations, not combat. I don't want to kill people in combat. I mean, though I have, but that's mostly because of the roll of the dice. But the DM versus player mentality really does kind of need to go away. But certain situations it needs to stay. But overall, it should be the DM crafting a story that the players can enjoy with their characters as they go through it. Giving advice in certain situations, nowadays, a player should consider the DM's advice when it comes to combat or it comes to a situation, because obviously they're the god of the game, and I'm doing quotes here when I say that, so they would know what works best. But a player has to consider, why is the DM giving advice? Other than the obvious of let's get going. Are they trying to skew the combat a different way? Should the DM remain neutral and quiet? Is it wrong to give out bad advice as a DM? These are all questions you have to think about from either side of the screen. And generally, as a DM, I try to remain neutral and just be quiet. Let the players figure it out on their own. Let them do what they want. They have the free will of their characters to move where they want to move and act how they want to act. Sometimes I will give advice to certain people that makes sense in the situation at hand. And I will generally phrase it with, if it were me, I would probably do this, but It's your character. Go ahead and do what you wish to do. That's generally how I phrase those sentences. And if I really want them to go a certain way, yeah, I will skew things a certain way depending on the situation, possibly to get the situation rolling forward or in a direction I want them to go. And it's not a bad advice, it's just advice to get things moving and sometimes stir things in the right direction. Stir the right word there? Steer them in the right direction. That's what I meant to say. Steer them in the correct direction when I'm giving my advice, which is best for the campaign and moving forward. Now, do players listen to me? Yeah, most of the time they do. Do they sometimes do things on their own? Yeah, some players will because they don't care. They think the DM's out to trick them. And I guess if you're playing with me and you know my name is the old DM, you're probably not going to always think I'm giving out solid advice as far as what's best for the character at hand. Eh. I mean, should you really listen to me? Yeah, you should, because I do have whatever 30 something years of experience from playing these games. And I know what's best because I am the DM, but you have to also remember it's your character. You do whatever you want. If you want to jump out a window, jump out a window. I mean, sometimes the DM's going to be like, "You sure you want to do that?" And that's your cue to maybe not do that because that's his subtle way of warning you. I had a player when I was playing AD&D many years back, and there was a rickety elevator and there was a staircase. I said the staircase looks a little rotted. The elevator system, which is a wooden elevator system with pulleys, looked like if you stepped on it, it would probably fall to the ground. It looked very old and rotting away. I would not suggest stepping on it. So who knows? And the player who was controlling a fighter in full, I think it was half plate or full plate armor, was heavy armor. He's like, "Well, I'm going to use the elevator." I said, "Are you sure? I just described the elevator as rickety and it may break, and you're apparently weighing a lot, so you're probably 5, maybe 100 pounds with your armor on and everything." And he's like, "No, I'll use the elevator." I said, "Are you sure? Because the elevator is probably going to crash and fall." No, no, I'll use the elevator. Even the group was like, "No, dude, take the stairs with us." So he gets on the elevator and I roll to see have the weight would do it, and there was a very, very good chance of that. Rolled the percentile, boom, the elevator crashed to the ground. His character fell well over 100 feet and died. And he was only a first level character, but he died. According to the falling rules, he died. And then he got annoyed at me. And I said, "Why are you annoyed at me? I warned you twice, 3 times not to do that. Even the group told you not to do that." I said, "I'll gladly give you a redo and we can reverse time and you can take the stairs, but you died." So he learned a lesson. He was new to playing Dungeons and Dragons and didn't think he could die because he had the video game mentality in his head of, "No, it's okay, I'll just resurrect, or I'll be fine. It'll just reset my. He learned from there. I had another campaign when we were playing Marvel Superheroes, and we were in a sewer system where it had a smell of, I think, methane gas or gas in the sewer systems, and and lighting a fire down there would actually make the gas explode. And the group knew this, and the one player I had was being a jerk, you could tell, decided to use his ability to shoot flames down the tunnel. And I said, "Are you sure you want to do that? That's going to make everything explode in a giant fireball." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I want to do that." I'm like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" Guys, as your GM, I'm telling you, just make sure he doesn't do that. And they're like, "No, you're going to kill us." He did it anyway, causing a giant fireball in the sewer system, pretty much killing his character and almost killing the rest of the characters because they braced themselves. And one of the characters had like a kind of like an invisible girl force field thing going on, so he put it up for them. They took some minor damage from the fireball blast. He wound up frying his character. And I said, so what was the point of that? He goes, oh, it was funny. Uh, okay. You have a free will. You could do whatever you want. But again, those are some extreme situations. But there are situations where the DM will tell you not to do something and you do it, and oh well. So what do you think? Should DM give advice to players? Should DM give warnings? I I think it's very well, yes, I think they should, and I think players should listen most of the time, or at least consider that your dungeon master is giving you advice or warnings. I don't know. Some people will be in the camp of being neutral and sitting back and doing nothing and letting the players just do whatever they want. And if they kill themselves, oh well, that's your player agency. You want to die. We'll have to talk about in another episode how characters can die and you're not invincible. With that said, I'm going to head out. We're going to keep it original. We're going to keep it old school. And don't forget, no drama, no clickbait. All gaming here on my channel. Good night, everybody.